We're back with another Dark Fairy Tales. Today, Jamaica Inn. So Jamaica Inn is very well known along the paranormal field for obviously its activity. It was featured on Most Haunted. And also Daphne du Maurier wrote a book called The Jamaica Inn, which talks about all the smugglers, the romance behind it, and obviously the lovely gruesome stuff that I just absolutely love. So we're going to go back to the start, and then we'll get to the hauntings. Of course, it's me. The Jamaica Inn on Bodmin Moor got its name from the local Trelawney family, who were governors on the island of Jamaica in the 18th century. The inn is built between Launceston and Bodmin. In 1776, Sea Captain John Broad bought the land and the inn was built in 1777. The land was formerly known as Tolborough Downs and was jointly owned by James Scarwen and Thomas Wills. Built as a coaching house to offer rest for both travellers and horses, the inn became an ideal place for smugglers to hide their contraband they had smuggled ashore. In the 19th century, the inn was described as a haven for smugglers. It estimated that a quarter of all the tea and half the brandy being smuggled into the UK at the time was landed along the Cornish and Devon coasts. Because of how remote the inn was, it was a perfect place to stop and hide the contraband. In 1778, the inn was extended to include a coach house, stables and a back room. In the 18th century, when taxes rose to fund foreign wars, tea had become more popular at one point. Tea tax levied up to 6 times more expensive than Europe. Goods such as silk, tea, tobacco and brandy were frequently smuggled into Cornwall than anything else. Cornish smugglers were cunning. Smuggling from the Cornish coast was more simple than other places. There were fewer men to enforce laws, and even when caught, most magistrates were willing recipients of smuggled goods. With Polperro and Boscastle on the south coast, Trebarnwith and Tintagel on the north coast, these were most used landing coves for bringing ashore contraband. Landreth and Towland were regularly used by the Polperro smugglers to hide their cargo. Jamaica Inn, in its isolated location, provided a perfect premise for storing this contraband on its way up country. Wreckers also used these coves and inlets, as well as storing contraband in the Jamaica Inn. Smugglers were stealth. They went out at night using lanterns. They also used these lanterns to indicate to wreckers, who were people that would go off and raid the goods that had washed up on shore from shipwrecks, that there were goods to be had, and these would also be hidden in the coves, inlets, and then places like Jamaica Inn where they could hide the contraband as well as themselves. The innkeeper would be paid handsomely for doing this service, and signals and gestures were made to alert of any law enforcements lurking around. The inn became a smuggler's stopping point, while they used approximately 100 secret routes to move around their contraband. In 1936, Daphne du Maurier published her novel Jamaica Inn, The story follows Mary Yelland, who moved to the Jamaica Inn to stay with her aunt. The novel is described as a dark and gripping Gothic tale. Another describes it as pure evil with an eerie and shocking kind of power. Daphne de Maurier's The Jamaica Inn is still available to purchase today. So if you do read it, please let me know what you think of it. There is a museum located on the Jamaica Inn premises as well. Not only does it take you through the whole history with smugglers and artefacts from that time, it also has a section dedicated to Daphne de Maurier. Ghostly tales. Jamaica Inn is known for its many hauntings and has attracted many paranormal investigations throughout the years, including the Most Haunted team. In the 1700s, a young smuggler was called outside of the inn and never returned. His body was found the next day on the moor. It is said that he is seen regularly sat on the wall around the inn. Phantom footsteps can be heard by both guests and staffs along the corridors, but when they turn, there is nobody there. The sounds of horses' hooves and carriage wheels can be heard from the courtyard despite no visible source. People have reported hearing voices in foreign conversations. Reports of a strange man in a tricorner hat and old-fashioned clothing has been seen around the inn, inside the inn, and in the courtyard. Reports from the rooms have been noted as well. In room 6, guests have heard the loft hatch in the bathroom open in the middle of the night, and when they get up to investigate, it's reported they have seen an apparition standing in the bathtub. Guests have also reported opening up the wardrobe in room 6 and seeing an impression of a large man's handprint on the blanket. Room 5. People have reported to see a little girl in the room standing at the foot or the side of their beds. Wet footprints have also been reported leading to a bathroom where a wardrobe now stands. It's believed this originates from the story of Mary Dowling, who had an illegitimate son with the inn's then landlord Thomas Dunn in 1834. Room 5 is said to be the most haunted room in the Jamaica Inn. If you've ever seen the episode of Most Haunted, whether you believe it or not, they discuss seeing an image of a woman in the mirror. Again, it's a TV show, just saying. There's been no reports of that anywhere else. In room 3, reports of hearing a weeping woman in this room. Women who stay in this room are reported to feel a great sadness. During paranormal investigations, sounds of a baby crying in room 3 and 7 were heard. In rooms 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, reports of knocking have been reported throughout the night. People have also reported to have their clothes pulled, to have their hair played with, and also have eerie feelings in certain places of the inn. In 1959, the then owner of the Jamaica Inn put the inn up for sale, stating it was too spooky to stay in. The manager, Herbert Gross, and his wife wanted to move somewhere a little less spooky. The then owner, Stanley Thomas, didn't want to continue running the inn without Herbert. The inn was sold in 1962 to William Palmer. Today, the Jamaica Inn is currently owned by the Red Cat Company, part of the Coaching Inn Group. It was purchased from Alan Jackson in 2022 for £8 million. Bargain. The inn still operates as a public house, offering rooms, food and refreshments, as well as being dog friendly and having a family area. The Smuggling Museum is still open and is part of the Jamaica Inn. It holds a collection of smuggling artefacts, running short historical films throughout the walk through the Museum of the History of the Jamaica Inn, bringing alive the stories, myths and legends connected to the inn. With wax figures and tales of the past, the museum also includes insight to Daphne de Moreau. Although linked with the paranormal, the inn offers a cosy, homely feel, keeping some of the features associated with the past. In 1988, the Jamaica Inn was listed as a Grade 2 listed building by the English Heritage. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next Dark Fairy Tales.